The Colorado River, a stunning marvel for the world, a vital bloodline for 40 million, now is facing a problem.
The last 22 years, we've only had 5 years of either near average precipitation and with 17 years below.
All those things that we were predicting in mid-century, now they are happening to us.
Though nowadays it seems everyone started to talk about the drought, the wildfire, and the decreasing water level of the Colorado River, for farmers, the trend has been there for more than a decade.
Justice Brothers Ranch is the longest continually operated citrus orchard in the state of Arizona.
Justice Brothers Ranch, located at the west rim of Phoenix metropolitan area. Like most of the ranches, Justice Brothers Ranch also has a range of business from fruits to dairy products. Sylvan Justice showed us the grapefruit orchard from 1960s.
When these trees were planted in the 60s and when the first trees were planted here in the 20s, in the wintertime, you had to be concerned about frost damage to the trees. If you had sustained temperatures below 28 degrees, you ran the risk of losing some trees. And now we have the opposite problem. Despite being tropical trees, if you get above 105, they start to be stressed more frequently, and you get above 110, and there are certain crops that just don't make it. There's a variety of citrus that comes out of Texas called the Texas Star Ruby, and the Texas Star Ruby in Arizona will die.
Sylvan said now his crops are facing triple threats.
You know, as the temperatures increase, the plants, you have a thing called evapotranspiration, or EVT, and that is the process of moisture leaving a plant. So that affects the plants that you're growing. The soil temperature changes, which impacts the crop that you're growing. And then if you're doing any type of surface irrigation, which by and large, whether you're using sprinklers or micro sprinklers or drip systems or whatever, there's still moisture in the soil or on top of the soil that is exposed to the wind and the heat. And that also causes moisture loss as you're applying the water.
Sylvan told us the ranch is trying to enhance its operation to save more water. He showed us the multiple irrigation systems in the ranch.
We have done simple things like shortening our fields, because it takes less water to do those short runs, especially when you're using any type of surface or flood irrigation methods. You want those short runs because you have less water exposed to evaporative conditions. But now, making drastic conversions from our older irrigation model into modern, micro sprinkler or micro jet systems that seriously reduce your water use. And then also moving, in the case of our cattle, we use irrigated pasture to feed our cattle, but also we've been transitioning into water friendlier pasture.
But for big farms, which get their water directly from the Colorado River, it's even a bigger issue.
The lower priority water users will, beginning in January, will be cut back somewhat in their annual allocation. What that means for the state of Arizona is Central Arizona Project will be cut back under a Tier 1 shortage criteria of around 512,000 acre feet.
The main problem is the continuous water level drop of the river. In the past 2 decades, the decrease of water level is obvious. Lake Mead and Lake Powell, 2 biggest man-made water reservoirs in the United States, showed huge differences on satellite photos between now and 20 years ago.
Both of those reservoirs are now only about a third full. So that has been very noticeable and a very precipitous drop in the water levels.
Sylvan told us frankly he's very pessimistic about the future of agriculture in lower Colorado River Basin. He said one day, eventually, agriculture will be forced to leave this region.
So there are strategies to prolong the existence of agriculture here, but it's difficult at times. I mean, it's difficult to see past my generation. What's going to be happening here when I get to in the next 30 years, what is the landscape of Arizona agriculture going to look like? I'm not sure.
To regulate the water rights for the Colorado Basin states, in 1922, representatives from 7 states signed the Colorado River Compact near Santa Fe in New Mexico. The compact follows precipitation patterns in previous years to allocate water to 7 states in the U.S. and Mexico. However, this very compact, in some ways, became one of the reasons of the water shortage.
The water, it was divided on a period that it was wetter than usual. So we're dividing more water than it was there.
And the population explosion in the past 100 years also made the Colorado River overused. Take Arizona, for example. In 1922, the population of Arizona is 360,000. And in 2019, it's already more than 7.2 million, 20 times than almost 100 years ago. Moreover, climate has undeniably made the Colorado River Basin more and more unstable. According to research by United States Geological Survey, the average temperature has raised 1.4 Celsius in the upper basin.
It should come as no surprise that an increase in marginal temperature of a few degrees, globally challenging in a place where it's already so hot.
Higher temperatures mean higher evaporation rates. The atmosphere is sucking more moisture out of the soil, out of these reservoirs, and that has had a big impact on the flow of the Colorado River.
The climate, the population, it seems the Colorado River is now in a vicious cycle. But whether Mother Nature will break the cycle or not, no one knows.
The Colorado River system can recover somewhat quickly if we have above average precipitation, but we're at the whim of Mother Nature. And what that means is if we have wet water years moving forward in the winter, have good snowpack, these reservoirs can recharge and recover quite rapidly.
You know, upstream from us lower basin states with junior water rights, it would just take, almost catastrophic levels of precipitation in a short period of time to beat this back before it has long-term consequences. That's not going to happen anyway. We're not going to see these cataclysmic events or even sustained favorable precipitation conditions enough to reverse the trajectory that we're on.
The drought, the wildfire, the climate crisis. It looks the situation is bad and keeps heading to the worse. The Colorado River, mother of 40 million people and a unique natural marvel, continues its journey. Whether to save the river or not, the future of the people here depends on our own choice.